Hi, welcome to the first video where of my experiment in getting a Blender model into DCS. I'm going to be creating an aircraft. I'm going to be using a BD-5J. This is a simple aircraft, simple design, simple cockpit, and should be quite easy to model. It's got all nice funky things like you've got the retracting undercarriage, and it's got obviously flaps, ailerons, elevators, rudder. We've got a folding forward canopy by the looks of it. Probably rotates on this hinge here. Yeah, well anyway, it's not a tutorial. I'm not an expert on modelling. I've been using Blender for a couple of years on and off. I've created some fairly decent shapes. I'm going to be using a basic flight model. I will explain some of the modelling techniques in Blender that I use, whether they're right or wrong. This isn't a tutorial, so don't follow what I'm doing. If you want to do it the right way, I'm sure there's more professional ways of doing this. I'm going to break the videos into parts for and stop at appropriate points, and the modelling I'm going to be showing at 8 speed because it'll be pretty laborious to watch. You're going to need the following links. You're going to need to do a search on Google for the DCS Wanderlust guide. You need to read this. It gives you information. There's a guide in there that gives you fairly in-depth information in how to get a model from 3ds Max into DCS World. I'm not going to be using 3ds Max. I'm going to be substituting that for Blender, but the overall the mesh should be the same, not necessarily the same quality. I don't know, we'll see how far we can go with this, but the rest of the principles should be the same. We're also going to need to do a search for Notepad++. This is for editing some of the files, the LUA files that are needed to tell DCS the characteristics of the aircraft. If you use standard Windows Notepad, there's problems with it. I won't go into why, but there's problems with it. And, it's not buggy or anything like that. It's just it will cause you problems when you edit the LUA files. Potentially, you might be lucky. You may not be. We also need GIMP. This will be for doing the textures. It's a graphics program that's open source and free. It's absolutely fantastic. We'll use that for the textures of the aircraft. We also need to get Blender. Blender's the 3D tool for pushing the vertices, the little dots that make up the aircraft. We're going to be using Blender for that. I'm using an old version of Blender. Basically I'm familiar with 2.78. I've never took the time to learn the newer version, which has got a different interface. And also I don't know whether the next download, which is the Blender EDM exporter, I don't know whether that's compatible with Blender 2.78. So on Google, search for Blender EDM exporter. There's a link to it on the Eagle Dynamics forum, or you want to go to this one here, this GitHub link, which has got the actual download. The download's here for that when you need those files, but you really need to read all this. The guy who started doing this is explained in the Eagle Dynamics forums where he's finished it. Not carrying on and work with it, but it's unofficial. You know, what he's done's fantastic. You know, to have created this in the first place. Hopefully one day he'll finish it and fix some of these issues. But you need to be aware of these issues anyway, because they will cause you problems, especially this one. And that's not going to be easy to work with. That's not a killer, but it would have been a problem. But we also need to watch out on this one. This one can cause Blender to just die, and you need to restart Blender. Any work that you not saved will be lost, so we really need to consider this one, and I'll make a note in the videos to explain or show what happens when we don't sort this one out. So I'm going to leave you there. I'm not going to be chatting obviously through the 8-speed because I'll sound even more stupid than I do. So let's get modelling. So I missed out one of the parts when I've been editing the video. I've noticed that there's something that I've not recorded, and that's where I've joined the wing to the fuselage. Just go in and have a look at that and just show the cuts, what I've done. Basically this, let's turn the subsurf off. This section here, going around here, basically I've probably not these actually. I've cut all the way back to here, cut that out, and then basically extruded the wing form into the fuselage. I've had to take a couple of loop cuts out of the wing. It had an extra 2 loop cuts in here, and had to add an extra couple of loop cuts to the fuselage just so the geometry of the wing matches the geometry of the fuselage, and that gives me a nice one piece, and I can run loop cuts through all these parts because everything's 4-sided. Also, I've noticed there's a couple of problems with the shape. Basically, oh shit, what's happening? Basically, there's some where I've shaped the fuselage. I didn't catch that on camera, but it's caused some of these edge loops to go out of shape. I also noticed around this part of the fuselage where the wing joins in, this is a bit higher on the photographs I've got of the model. Also, if I come around here, it's a bit high around here. It's not massively noticeable unless you look down the length of the aircraft, but it's noticeable enough for me. Also, where I have shaped the cockpit, if I go into the orthographic side view, you see, and show the blueprint, you see where I've pushed these vertices forwards to match the shape of the wing. You see how they run. Because I've pulled these vertices forwards, it's taken some of the shape out of the fuselage, so it's not as round. You see it there, it's like straight edges and a pointy bit there. So to fix that, just going to add a loop cut through here and a loop cut through there. So back to modelling once I've finished this, these changes, and that's the first part done. Okay, that's the main mesh finished for the fuselage. This isn't the end of the project by any means. This is basically a template for going forwards with the model. Hopefully you'll watch the next video and you'll be able to see exactly what I am talking about. Okay, thanks for watching for now.